All right, guys, welcome back to the segment. As usual, back again with some latest stories about our team. But let's start with an update that's not necessarily about Super Eagles, but it concerns our former Super Eagles head coach, Coach Peseiro, the man who took us to the finals in Ivory Coast last year, February. But this man is no longer jobless because he has now agreed to a term with Zamalek Football Club of Egypt, and it's a massive contract. It's going to be earning up to $75,000 per month for this contract, and based on the terms, he's going to see this club up to the end of the season. I think they are already like halfway through the season, so it's going to take over the leadership, the managerial role, and then uh, carry them to the end of the season. If he does well, there's a clause that he's going to earn $85,000, for the new season. And this is definitely a big improvement for the coach, of course, compared with the time that he was the head coach of the Spikes of Nigeria, where he was collecting around $50,000 a month with fights. You know the whole story with the NFF situation and things that arose from it. From not paying on time to owing salary and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he got paid for all of his works from the NFL. But great one for him. And then I'm just going to move on to let you know what's happening right now regarding Coach Eric Shaw. Uh, of course, the plan is still locked on in those games coming up next month. But it's one Super Eagles legend, actually a very formidable defender back in the day. Godwin Okbala has now, uh, you know, put his mouth in the situation now regarding Coach Eric Shell's chances and the qualifiers for the World Cup 2026. So for Godwin Okbala, just like a lot of all the other ex-internationals, he believed that the Super Eagles has a squad to get this qualification for the World Cup, and he's backing Eric Shell to get the result. Because he believes the team has a squad has a quality. In fact, it believes that there's no team or there's no country in our group that has the same kind of quality. Person for person comparison. No squad at all in all of the qualifiers has the same kind of quality that the Nigerian Spikers has, but it just goes down to the ability for the coach to be able to get these guys to work together, play as a team, not just depending on individual qualities, but play together as a team and then create a solid understanding between themselves, and that's when they're going to start getting the results. So this is in summary what Okbala has said, but he's fully backing the coach to go on out and get this result against Rwanda coming up on the 21st in Kigali, and then the next game coming up on the 25th in Gospel Aquabio Stadium in Nigeria here. So in his own words, he said, 1v1, Nigeria has better players than the teams in our World Cup group. I'm confident we will qualify for the tournament next year. So this is basically the meat of what he just said recently. And of course, uh, this is definitely going to go a long way. Having all of these ex-internationals coming out to back Eric Shell, with their support, it's way more beneficial to the coach, if you ask me, than getting lots of criticisms or lots of pessimistic comments saying that he cannot qualify and things like that. So this is definitely going to help the coach in terms of confidence and believe that yes, I mean we are saying this, we can actually make it work because of uh, you know all of the support that we are getting. And you recall recently he called on all these the ex internationals, the legion, to come on board to support the guys, not just watching on their screens, at home, but also to come show their presence during trainings in camp, in the dressing room when they're preparing for games, also during games, during team talks, all of these scenarios. These are where Coach Eric Shaw wants these legends to come help the guys, help the team to qualify. But again, we'll see what happens. We hope for the best, definitely, next month. But moving away from that, guys, Ola Aida's contract situation is progressing really well as it stands right now, according to the head coach of Nottingham Forest, Nuno Espirito. He came out recently to, briefly talk about Ola Aina's future with the club. Of course, his contract is going to expire this June, just a couple of months from now, and uh, he is currently having conversations with the club about renewal. And of course, they have to pay this man whatever he wants, because he's obviously done well this season. He is, in fact, one of the best right backs in England this season. You can't argue with that. The stats show it, and his performance every single game, every week shows it. So, according to the manager, he said that he believes that there's going to be good news very soon because AINA'S agent is having some good conversations with the club. So, hopefully, very soon they are going to settle on the deal, and then he's going to put pen to paper to extend his contract at the club. But we'll see how that goes, in a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days from now. But moving on, guys, the coach of the under 20 national team, that's the Flying Eagles, who are currently right now in camp preparing for the African Cup of Nations 2025, has now spoken out after CAF put us in a group of deaths in the Nations Cup where we play the likes of Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa. So the head coach has now reacted to this, in quotes, group of death that we find ourselves in. And for him, that's Mr. Zubairu, or Coach Zubairu. He said that, uh, you know, it's not even about the guys that we find in our groups. That on a normal, any team that you find in this competition, anything that you find in Africa is a tough team. That these days you don't take any team for granted because all of them are really strong, and to even qualify to be where they are at the moment shows you that they are a very tough side. So he dispelled the idea of calling our group the group of deaths because he feels like that kind of takes away the confidence, from the boys, or takes away the spirit, and then brings some sort of fear or shivering, that hey, this group is really hard, or can we qualify, that kind of thing. So he's saying that no, this is not really a group of death. That's not how he says it, but he knows that the teams in the group are really strong, and that he's equally preparing the boys, and he's not taking any team for granted. He's going to come prepared with the boys to play in the competition. So I might have to read out his words that he said for more clarity about that one. So in his words, he said, facing Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa at this stage presents a tremendous opportunity. I believe it's a blessing. And then he further says, we need to dispel the notion that this is a group of death. He continues, in African football, there are no small teams anymore. The key is to prepare very well. A lesser known nation can surprise anyone if they come prepared. So this is his reaction about uh, the group that we find ourselves in. And from his statement, you can be rest assured that he's not taking anybody for granted. Even if he was, let's say, Lesotho or Eritrea, any of these countries that you would normally call a small country, Coach Zubairu still doesn't want to take them lightly because he feels that no team is a small team, and this is the right mentality, going forward. So they continue their training in the camp, in the Abuja National Stadium camp, and then uh, hope to get the best, when the competition comes in a couple of weeks from now.